Okay, so after question 38, we are directly discussing question 44 onwards. Like I said earlier also in the explanation for the strategy adopted while giving the solution for this, the question which have elaborative theory, which you have to just read and understand that question. Maybe it happened that the related question has been asked for the first time. So instead of just explaining or reading the theory related with that particular question, I have skipped those questions. But if you want to go through the explanations and what is the solution, you can go and see the preview of this particular question paper, which is available on issue.com. As well as it will be available in this upcoming edition of Architect's Guidebook for Competitive Exams. If any candidate he has already ordered this book in the previous year, who has appeared for 2021, and if he wants to again appear for 2022, the free version or the free copy for this entire solved question paper, which will include those questions which we have skipped here, and for that the explanations are not available in this video. You will get the explanation in the preview on issue.com. So right now we have skipped those questions. I am just again repeating that information so that there won't be any confusion that after 32 how come directly question 44 onwards have been explained here. So right now we will discuss the numerical answer type question. Here each question will carry 2 marks, and for numerical answer type question there is no negative marking. So generally from 44 onwards there used to be a numerical type of questions. You must have analyzed if you have gone through the earlier year papers. So what is a numerical type of question in question 44 is a rectangular hall having dimension of 8 meter by 14 meter by 4 meter. Just draw the rectangle, or you can draw in a 3D also, so that you can mention what is the height. Has total 4 windows 1.5 by 1 meter each, okay, and 2 doors 1 meter by 2 meter each. The coefficients of absorption are given below. These are the coefficient of absorption used for the wall, floor and ceiling, and for door and window. There are two different I think treatment. For wall, floor and ceiling they have used a different kind of treatment, and for door and window they have different treatment. So considering all windows open and doors closed, the reverberation time in seconds will be round off to 2 decimal places. See, the question related to reverberation time are basically many of the times they are repeated. So formula is very easy. This type of problems are very easy to solve. So let's solve this example step by step. Yeah, like I said, the similar question was earlier asked in GATE 2019, question 46. So what was the question? The internal dimension of room is 10 by 10 by 4 meter. The total area of the doors and windows is 16 meter square, keeping the doors and window closed. Here in this in the GATE 2021, they have asked considering all windows open and doors closed, whereas in earlier year paper they have asked keeping doors and windows closed. The reverberation time of this room becomes 1.2 seconds. Assume all the interior surface including doors and windows have same sound absorption coefficient. If all the doors and windows of the room are kept fully open, the reverberation time will be. Now the detailed explanation, detailed solution for this particular question has already given in GATE 2019, and like I said in the first lecture, how to do multiple practice of numerical answer questions, you have to put your own values. So if the candidate has done multiple practice for the question based on this particular formula, answering the finding out the correct answer for the question 44 of GATE 2021 was very simple. So let's solve this question 44 step by step. Here they have mentioned that what is the room dimension? 8 meter by 14 meter by 4 meter. Okay, so what will be the total volume? 8 into 14 into 4. So total volume is 448 meter cube. Okay, we have find out the total volume. Then next we will find out total area of 4 walls. So there will be 2 walls of 14 by 4. These 2 walls will be of dimension 14 by 4, and 2 walls will be of dimension 8 by 4. So simply 2 into 14 by 4 plus 2 into 8 by 4. Now there will be ceiling which will have dimension of 8 by 14, right? Ceiling 14 by 8, as well as floor will be again of the same dimension, 14 by 8. So we will just multiply with 2. So this the entire equation will be the total area of 4 walls plus ceiling plus 4. So what is the area? It will come 400 square meter. Okay, so we have find out volume and area of 4 walls, ceiling, floor. Now they have mentioned about the number of doors and number of windows, and what is the area of each door and what is the area of each window. So total area of 4 windows will be 4 into what is the dimension they have mentioned, 1.5 by 1 meter. So what will be the total area of 4 windows? 6 square meter. Whereas dimension of doors is given as 2 meter by 1 meter, and there are 2 number of doors are there for this room. So total area of two doors will be 4 square meter. Now they have given in the question that there is a different arrangement for wall, floor and ceiling, and different arrangement for doors and windows, as well as the condition is different. At one time they are asking doors and windows are closed, and in the second time they are asking windows are closed and doors are open. So net area of 4 walls plus ceiling plus floor excluding the windows, what is the net area for this particular component will be 400 minus 10 square meter. 10 is the total of sum of area of 4 windows plus 2 doors. So the net area of 4 walls, ceiling and floor is 390 square meter, right? Okay. So right now, we will find out what is the total absorption in sub-ions. So we will, tabulate in this format. We will have a components. Then a component is wall, floor and ceiling in one column, and doors and windows in this column. So what is the area we find out? Net area of wall, floor and ceiling is 390 square meter, whereas doors and windows they are of 10 square meter. As per the given information, the coefficient of absorption for wall, floor and ceiling is 0.2, and for door and window it is 0.4. So just simply do the multiplication of this area into coefficient of absorption. You will get the total absorption in sub-ions. So AN into AN will be 78, and so 390 into 0.2 will be 78, and 10 into 0.4 will be 4. So we will do just the addition of both this 78 plus 4, that will be the total room absorption in sub-ions. So A, this will be the capital A, which will be 78 plus 4, 82 meter square. Now in this particular question, in this particular value, all the doors and windows are closed. All the doors and windows are closed. So for this, when the total absorption is 82 meter square, what will be the reverberation time? The formula is 0.16 into V upon A. Please remember this formula. Many of the times the questions are generally asked based on this formula. So 0.16 into, we will put the value of V here, which is 448 meter cube, divided by A. A is total room absorption in sub-ions. We just found out here, that is 82. We will put the value of A as 82 here. So what will be the answer for this? 0.87 second. This is the reverberation time. What is the condition? For all doors and windows are closed. But right now they have changed the condition in the second condition. They have changed that doors are open and windows are closed. I'm not sure what is the definition they have given. Sorry, windows are open and doors are closed. So we have to find out what is the what is the total room absorption when this condition is applied, when all windows are open and doors are closed. So as per this condition, if windows are open, then the coefficient of absorption will be 1, because there won't be any reflection for that particular area. The entire sound will get absorbed. So coefficient of absorption in this condition will be 1. So instead of, for windows, for doors and windows, we have used coefficient of absorption in the first condition as 0.4. Now we will bifurcate it. Now we will use 0.4 as coefficient of absorption only for the doors. Only for the doors. Now windows are open, so for windows when we will find out the AN into AN for this particular window, so we won't use this value 0.4, because right now windows are open. So the new coefficient of absorption in the new condition will be, for windows it will be 1. So again we will tabulate this information. Components, now wall, floor and ceiling, they are as it is, they are same 390. Again for them coefficient of absorption is same 0.2, and their total absorption here will be an into an 78. Now for doors we have the area of door is 4 square meter, because in the condition they are saying doors are closed. So we will bifurcate. We have bifurcated doors and windows. We have bifurcated because right now the condition is changed. So we will multiply 4 with 0.4, because the coefficient of absorption for this particular section for the doors, the treatment is same as it is 0.4. So their multiplication will be 1.6. Now for windows, 6 is the total area of window into 1, because the windows are open and right now the coefficient of absorption will be 1. So just do the addition of these three figures. So this will be the total room absorption as per the new condition. So 78 plus 1, 1.6 plus 6 together will be 85.6 meter square. This is the total room absorption in Sabaeans for all windows open and doors closed. Now we have to just put this figure in this equation. We will find out the reverberation time in the second condition. So that is the next step. Very easy example. 0.16 into V, volume is as it is, divide by A, and for this A we will put the value of A, the new value 85.6. So the new reverberation time as per this condition for all windows open and door closed will be 0.837 second. This was the very easy example. Generally reverberation time examples are very easy to solve. Just you have to tabulate the information, analyze, do the calculation correctly. Please see what is the unit given for this particular components. Sometimes it happens that doors and windows, they might be given in mm, so you have to convert it in the same unit and do the multiplication. Otherwise putting these values in this simple formula is very easy task. So what was the final answer? The final answer was in the range of as per final key, it was the range was between 0.82 to 0.86, whereas we find out the answer in 0.837 seconds. So our answer is in this range, so we'll get full marks. So till now we have achieved 52 marks. Very simple question, very simple numerical type of question. This example was there in GATE 2021. So okay, so let's go to next numerical question. Okay, the next numerical question is question 45. If surface conductance of an external surface is 20 watts per meter square degree Celsius, absorbance of the surface is 0.66 and U value of the wall is 1.2 watt per meter square degree Celsius, the solar gain factor of a wall is. Now the question related to solar gain factor have been asked earlier also, but this is somewhat related to the theory information. If you have clear understanding related with this concept, conductance, transmittance, resistance and solar gain factor, answering this question was an easy task. Now what is solar gain factor? The definition given is solar heat gain factor or coefficient is the ratio of solar heat gain that passes through the fenestration to the total solar radiation incident on that particular fenestration. So solar heat gain includes directly transmitted solar heat and absorbed solar radiation, which is then re-radiated, convected or conducted into the interior surface. Basically out of total जितनी heat आपके अंदर transmit हो जाएगी, that particular ratio is the solar heat gain coefficient. So its value should not exceed 0.04 in warm humid climates or 0.03 in hot dry season of composite climates when ventilation is reduced. This information has been taken from Manual of Tropical Housing and Building by Königsberger. So to find out the answer for this particular numerical problem, the formula should one should know what is the formula for this particular solar heat gain factor. So the relation between solar gain factor, surface conductance, that is C value, and absorbance A and U value. What is the relation? Solar gain factor equal to A into U divided by C. What is A? It is absorbance into U value divided by C. So here as per the given information, they have given that surface conductance, that is C value, is 20 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Absorbance they have mentioned as 0.66 and U value they have mentioned at as 1.2 watt per meter square degree Celsius. So we have to just put this value in the equation of this equation, solar gain factor equal to A into U upon C. So just by simply putting this value, instead of 8.66, this U value is 1.2 divided by 20. So the answer is 0.04. So this was the answer for this question, 0.04. As per final answer ki, the range for the correct answer was 0.03 to 0.04. So our answer is in the range, we will get full marks. So very simple question was there. If you know what is the solar gain, the definition of solar heat gain coefficient, as well as the relation between the factors mentioned here, like surface conductance, absorbance, and the U value, and with what is the relation between the solar gain factor. So here we will get 2 marks for this question. So total marks achieved till now 54 marks. Now the next question is based on the sinking fund formula. Again, sinking fund formula, if you have solved the earlier year papers, the examples based on sinking fund formula have been asked. Maybe बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. I think 5-6 questions are there in the entire gate book based on this sinking fund theory. So the question is 46. The initial cost of a property is rupees 4 lakh and its future life is 30 years. Okay. Considering the scrap value as 10% of its initial cost, that means 10 after future life खत्म होने के बाद after 30 years its scrap value will be only 10%, that means it will be 40%. And what is the rate of interest? It is given as 5%. The sinking fund deposited at the end of year for the property is rupees. Now what is sinking fund, what is the formula associated, everything is explained in the previous year paper, because earlier also the example based on this formula have been asked. So first we will just I will tell you what is the definition of sinking fund. Like if you take example of some building is constructed on a plot, so it is a natural thing that by the year the land prices will go on increasing, but your building will goes on depreciating. So once it will achieve the its future life, the maximum future life, there will be necessity to again rebuild to that building. There will be repairing expenses. So for this purpose, at that time, considering that you have to replace the entire building after once it will achieve its maximum life, there is some kind of money deposited every year for that particular period, so that at the end you will collect some money and you can again replace that particular building. So that is basically the sinking fund. So what is the definition? Sinking fund, it is a fund formed by periodically setting aside money for the gradual repayment of a debt or replacement of a vesting asset. Building is generally a vesting asset. So this fund is particularly collected by all the members. If it is a multi-story building, the owner of each floor will keep aside some money, so that after say the maximum life of RCC structure is 60 years, 70 years, after attaining the maximum age, you can replace that entire building at that time. So this is the definition they have asked in GATE 1996 for the particular question number 12. So again we will come back to question, what is the explanation for this? Initial cost of property, just tabulate or just write down the values. Initial cost they have mentioned is 4 lakh. So and scrap value they have mentioned 10% of initial cost, which will be 40,000. Future life will note down as N is 30 years. Rate of interest current is 5%. Now what is the formula for sinking fund? Sinking fund equal to what will be the money we have to accumulate? It will be what is the initial price minus what will be the scrap value. So that much value we have to accumulate in that future lifespan period. So it will be 3,60,000. We have to collect 3,60,000 rupees in 30 years, considering the rate of interest as 5%. So that is the basic calculation for this sinking fund formula. So the formula is I installment is equal to S into I is rate of interest, divided by 1 plus I bracket raised to N minus 1. Now this N the value is not n minus 1. This particular bracket 1 plus I bracket raised to n, and this minus 1 is different, separated one. So we will just put this value. Now, like I said, I is the annual installment, S is the value which you need to accumulate sinking fund, I is the rate of interest, but it should be like if the rate of interest is 5%, you will not put 5 as a I. It will be 5 divided by 100. So the value of I will be 0.05. N is the total future life of the property, that which is 30 years. So let's put this value S. We have like I said, it is the money which we need to accumulate. So S will be 3,60,000. N is 30, I is 5%, that is 0.05. So just simply put this value in this equation. The answer is 5421.68, 5421.68. So just very easy example, like we said, we have discussed in reverberation time or in the sinking fund formula. This type of question are very easy to solve, and getting 2 marks in this is very simple task, or these examples are very easy to solve. So what was the final answer key? As per final answer key, the range of correct answer is 5405 to 5422, whereas our answer is, yeah, it is in the range, we will get the full marks. So till now we have achieved 56 marks. Okay, let's discuss the next example. Okay, what is the next numerical question? 47 is reading in the staff station at point P measured by a dumpy level is 3.5 meter. They have kept a staff over here where the reference length reference level they have mentioned is 96.5. Here the height from the base point from 0 is 96.5, whereas the reading in the staff when the reading on the staff when dumpy level was fixed at point Q was found out that it is 3.5 meter. Now what they are asking, the height of dumpy level is 1.25. Height of dumpy level is 1.25. The RL at point Q. The RL at point Q. Now just we have to find out that what is the the difference between these two. The perpendicular distance here between Q and point P. What is the level difference? This is the answer. So here what we will do, the reference level till this point when the reading was taken, which was 3.5 meter. So the reference level here will be 96.5 plus 3.5 here, and if you minus the height of dumpy, we will get the reference level here at point Q. So this is the simple logic for finding out the reference level at point Q. So reference level at point Q will be RL at point P plus 3.5 minus height of dumpy level. So that's it. It was a very easy example carrying 2 marks. So we have just placed the value of RL as 96.5 plus 3.5, which is the reading, minus height of dumpy level. So the final answer is 98.75. This is the reference level at point Q. Final answer is 98.75. So 2 marks question, very easy question. There is nothing to nothing brainstorming is required for this for solving this question. So getting 2 marks here was the easy task. Okay, let's go to next example, next numerical example. What is this? Question 48. It is saying a circular cricket field of 180 meter diameter. Okay, we will draw the figure. This is a circular field having 180 diameter, is illuminated by 4 floodlight towers. Okay, 4 floodlight towers, just like a stadium kind of thing. So the floodlight towers are equally spaced along the perimeter. Okay, they are equally spaced along the perimeter of the field. The height of floodlight tower is 48 meters. So we have to draw elevation also. So as they have mentioned, the diameter as 180 meters. So let's take this center, and there are 4 floodlight towers. So each having height of 48 meters. Using inverse square law, the illumination level at the center field is found as 750 lux. यहाँ पे illumination मिला है 750 lux. Each tower is consisting of 50 lamps. हर एक tower में 50 lamps है. The rating of each lamp is 700 watt. Rating of each lamp is 700 watt. The efficacy of each lamp is lumen per watt. Efficacy, like in the layman term we can say what is the average, how much the गाड़ी का एक एवरेज बोलते हैं, तो वैसा एक efficacy इसका ढूंढना है हमें. what is the efficacy of each lamp? there are similar 50 lamps in each tower, and there are 4 such towers, and at the end they have given the value of 750 lux, which is the total of all 4 floodlight towers. Now how to solve this example? To find out illumination produced from a light source which is not perpendicular to the surface, Lambert's cosine law is generally used. So the questions based on this Lambert cosine law, again they were asked at least 4 to 5 times in the previous year papers. So what is that? What is the law? E equal to I into cos theta divided by d square. Now what is E? E is the illumination on surface, which is lux. In the problem they have mentioned that the value they have found at the center field was 750 lux. So here E is 750 lux. I is the illumination intensity from source, but it is in candela. So what is I? Like I said, luminous efficacy of lamp, which is lumen per watt into power consumption of lamp. So simply अगर आपको ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो जस्ट टेक अ एग्जांपल दैट दिस इज द एवरेज गिवन. अब गाड़ी का जैसे एवरेज लेते हैं 5 किलोमीटर्स फॉर पर लीटर इनटू 10 लीटर्स का आपने पेट्रोल गाड़ी में डाल दिया, तो हाउ मच विल बी द गाड़ी आपकी कितने किलोमीटर्स जाएगी. सो दिस इज द सिंपल लेमैन टर्म्स में इसको अगर समझना है तो ऐसे हम लोग समझ सकते हैं. So luminous efficacy of lamp, it is lumen per watt into total power consumption will be the total illumination intensity from the source in candela. So as per information, total there are 4 floodlight towers, each having 50 lamps. There are 4 towers, each tower contains 50 lamps, each having a rating of 700 watt. So here I will be, according to this, it will be 4, because there are 4 floodlight towers, into luminous efficacy, because we have to find out the efficacy of each lamp. So we will just write down luminous efficacy of lamp into 50 into 700. Why 50? There are 50 lamps in each floodlight tower. Into 700 is the power consumption of each lamp. Power consumption, that means it is a rating. That means the power consumption, which is given in watt. D is the distance from the light source. D is the distance from the light source. This is the center of the field. So this D hypotenuse will be the distance from the light source. So from this particular figure from the elevation, this is the this will be the radius, because 180 meter is the diameter. So this distance will be 90 meter. The height of the tower they have mentioned is 48 meter. So we have to find what is the hypotenuse here. So as per the diagram, if this is assume this angle as theta, so tan theta, that means opposite upon adjacent. Tan theta opposite upon adjacent, that means 90 divided by 48, which will be 1.875. So tan theta will be 1.875. So we will just find out tan inverse. So we will get the value of theta. So theta will be tan inverse of 1.875. The value will be 61.92. So this angle is 61.92. Now cos theta will be adjacent. Cos theta will be cos theta adjacent upon hypotenuse. So here cos, we have find out the value of theta, which is we will put this cos 61.92 will be 48 upon d. So adjacent upon d. So we know what is the value of cos theta, that is cos 61.92 is 0.47. Here 48, that means adjacent is 48 meter, and the hypotenuse will be d. So from this figure, we just do the cross multiplication. D equal to 48 divided by 0.47. So the value of D will be 102.12. So the distance between the light source and the center of the field is 102.12 meter. Now we will just simply put this value of 2, 3 and 1 in the earlier equation, that is E equal to I upon cos theta divided by D square, which is the Lambert cosine law. So 750 is what the illumination level they have found at the center field, which is in the lux. This particular value, I value in earlier equation 1 is 4 into luminous efficacy of lamp into 50 into 700 into we have found out that the value of cos theta is 0.47 divided by distance D square, that means 102.12. This distance is 102.12 102.12 square. So just simply do the cross multiplication. You will get the luminous efficacy of lamp will be 118.86, which will be, the unit will be lumen per watt. So as per final answer key, the range of correct answer is 117.00 to 199.00. So that means our answer is correct. It is in the range. You will get full marks. So just simply understand the question that it was basically depended on how you can draw the correct figure from this, how you can find out what is the correct distance between the light source and center point, and then you must know what is the luminous efficacy, how to convert this formula, how to put the values, correct values. Like here 750, it is lux. What is the distance, the relation between lux, what is the lumen per watt, what is the efficacy. So all this information you must thoroughly understand, so that you will be able to solve this numerical type of question easily. Okay, let's see how many marks we have achieved. Till now we have achieved 60 marks. Okay, let's go to next question. Okay, next question is question 49. A building is constructed on a plot measuring 70 meter by 40 meter. The utilized FAR of the building is 1.5. An energy audit team found that the average monthly electricity bill of the building is rupees 2,94,000. The unit cost of the electricity is rupees 7. The building energy index is dash kilowatt hour per meter square per year. Okay. So basically they have mentioned the plot dimension, what is the FAR utilized, and what is the monthly electricity bill, and the unit cost of the electricity, that means rupees per kilowatt hour. So this is the information they have mentioned, and they are asking the building energy index in this unit, kilowatt hour per meter square per year. Okay, let's solve this example. Right now, the plot area, the plot size they have mentioned is 70 meter by 40 meter. So total plot area will be 2800 meter square, 2800 meter square. Again, they have mentioned the utilized FAR of the building is 1.5. So what will be the built up area? Utilized FAR is 1.5. Thus, total built up area of the building will be 1.5 into 2800. So that will be 4200 meter square. Next thing what they have mentioned, the monthly electricity bill of the building is rupees 2,94,000. Yes, unit cost of the electricity is rupees 7. So what is mean by your what is the next step? Electricity charges per square meter per month. Here we have identified what is the total built up area, and we know what is the monthly electricity bill. So let's find out what is the electricity charges per square month, per square meter per month. So we will divide 2,94,000 by the total built up area. So we will get how much amount we are spending per meter square. So we will get the value as 70 rupees per meter square. The next thing, they have mentioned the unit cost of electricity, which is rupees 7. Now what is unit cost? That is 7 rupees per kilowatt hour. Generally we know that what is the rate of electricity in our area, we generally say 7 rupees, 8 rupees. But what 8 rupees, what is the unit? It is 8 rupees or 7 rupees per kilowatt hour. That is the unit of electricity generally we use in our daily terms. So building energy index, what is the definition or what is the formula to identify the building energy index? It is unit cost of electricity divided by electricity charges per square meter per month into 12 months, because they are asking here, see the unit they are asking in the question is per year. So here we have to multiply it by 12 months. So many of the times you can identify what can be the formula to apply. If you are not known about what is the formula for in that particular section, you can just observe what is the unit given in the problem and what is the unit required in the problem, so that here if you don't know what is the formula, here you can simply apply a logic and put this value in such kind of thing that at the end the unit of the answer will be kilowatt hour per meter square per year. So here the building energy index, as per the standard definition, it is unit cost of electricity divided by electricity charges per month. So here unit cost of electricity, that means kilowatt hour. See, this is the unit mentioned in the question. Then electricity charges per square meter per month. So it will be meter square per meter square into 12 months. That means per year. So this will be year. 12 months will be equal to year. So here we will put the above values, 70 rupees per meter square into 7 rupees per kilowatt hour into 12. So what is the final answer? 70 divided by 7, 10 into 12, 120. So this is the final answer. See, very simple logic. If one can apply the simple logic, that how to put the values in the final while finding the solution for the problem, just by looking at what is the unit mentioned in the question for which the answer is desired. So here the final answer, as per the final answer key, is 120. So very simple question of 2 marks. This was question 49. So till now we have achieved 62 marks. Okay, let's go to next question. Next question 50, it is related to theory of structures. The question is, a simply supported steel beam made of an I section has a span of 8 meter. That means L is 8 meter. The beam is carrying a UDL of 15 kilonewton per meter. The overall depth of the beam is 450 mm. The moment of inertia of the beam section is 18,000 centimeter raised to 4. The maximum bending stress in the beam will be dash Newton per mm square. Okay, we will simply write down what are the values mentioned in the question one by one. Span they have mentioned as 8 meter, so L will be 8 meter. UDL is 15 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so maximum bending moment M will be WL square by 8. Now for theory of structures, like I mentioned in the previous lecture also, these kind of formulas, or this kind of for the theory of structure related terms, you must enlist what are the formulas for specific loading condition or specific type of beam. If it is simply supported beam and there is a point load, what will be the maximum bending moment, what will be the maximum shear force. Then if it is a UDL, what will be the maximum bending moment, where will be the what will be the maximum shear force. So this kind of formulas one should by heart, so that it is easy to apply here and it will save your time while solving the theory of structure problem. So here the maximum bending moment is WL square by 8. So just put the values of W and L here. So the maximum bending moment will be 120 kilonewton meter. So here again, see, just carefully see the units mentioned in the question. Here the depth they have mentioned in mm. Then the moment of inertia of the beam section they have mentioned in centimeter. Then maximum bending stress in the beam they have mentioned in Newton. The answer, final answer they are desiring, it is in Newton per mm square. So just carefully observe what are the units mentioned in the question. So accordingly here we will convert 120 kilonewton meter into Newton mm. So it will be 120 into the conversion for kilonewton meter into Newton mm will be 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. Okay. Next, depth they have mentioned as 450 mm. Okay. So the distance of neutral axis y will be d by 2. So it will be 450 by 2. So it will be 225 mm. Now moment of inertia I they have mentioned as 18,000 centimeter raised to 4. So again we will convert this into mm. So it will be 18 into 10 raised to minus 5 meter raised to 4, which is equal to 18 into 10 raised to 7 mm raised to 4. So here we have found out all the values in either Newton mm or mm. So right now we are having all the values in one single unit. So what is the formula for bending stress? It is sigma equal, we have to identify what is the bending stress. That means sigma equal to question mark. We know the formula m upon I equal to sigma upon y. So we will just put the values of the relevant values in this equation. So this stress, bending stress sigma equal to 120 into 10 raised to 6, this value of m, into 225, that is value of y, divided by moment of inertia I. So 18 into 10 raised to 7. So the final answer by using the calculator will be 150 Newton per mm square. So this was just putting the value. If you know what is the formula and you know how to convert the given values in a single unit, so answering this kind of question will be easy task. So just understand how, just go through the data related with the or the formulas related with the different loading condition, different type of beams, and one should understand how to convert what is the conversion factor when the unit is mentioned, like here it is kilonewton meter, then how to convert it into Newton mm, or how to in case of like moment of inertia, they have mentioned in the question here is in centimeter, and we are designing the answer in mm. So how to convert this? Just make a list of conversion factor, how to convert areas, how to convert bending moment. So and do multiple practices of such questions. So theory of structure related questions will be easy to solve. So what is the final answer? Final answer is 150 as per the final answer key. So this question was also simply simple to solve of Gateway 2021. So till now we have achieved 64 marks. We are left with, I think, 5 questions, numerical question. Let's go through them one by one. We will go to the next question. Okay, next question is question 51. The slenderness ratio of a circular column of diameter 300 mm and effective height 3 meter is. We have to identify, find out the slenderness ratio of that particular column. So let's solve this question step by step. First we will write down the values as it is. The diameter they have mentioned 300 mm. So we will convert this into one single unit. So it will be 0.3 meter. This 300 mm is 0.3 meter. Effective height, that is L effective, is 3 meter. Yeah. Then we have to identify what is the formula for to identify the slenderness ratio. So the slenderness ratio for a circular column or for the column is L effective upon K minimum. This is the formula. You can just write down this formula in your notes right now. So what is the formula to identify K minimum? So see, these are the the formulas related to slenderness ratio. So one can make a notes on this particular topic. One can just find out the information related to the slenderness ratio, and this is the kind of information important related to these problems. So radius of gyration for different conditions will be different for different column conditions. So radius of gyration here is square root of I minimum upon A. What is I minimum? It is moment of inertia, and A will be the cross sectional area. So here for circular column, I minimum will be equal to pi d raised to 4 divided by 64. So again you have to write down this formula. Just have this formula in your notes, and A will be pi d square divided by 4, the cross sectional area. So we will just put this value in question number 2. So K minimum will be, this K minimum will be d by 4. We have just we have put the values of this I minimum instead of this in the square root of pi d raised to 4 divided by 64, and we have divided this by pi d square by 4. So instead of again solving this step, we have directly identified what is the value of this square root. So it will be d by 4. So here K minimum that is radius of gyration will be 0.075 meter. So we will just put this K minimum value in the first equation. So L effective we know that is it is 3 meter, and we will put the value of K minimum as 0.075 here in the equation 1. So at the end, slenderness ratio, the value will be 3 divided by 0.075, which is equal to 40. So the final answer, as per final answer key, is 40. So here the answer we have found out is correct. It is a 2 marks question. So here we got 2 marks. So till now we have achieved 66 marks till now. So, if you know what is the formula for the slenderness ratio, if you just remember what is the shape of the column, because the formula to identify the radius of gyration will be different for different sections. So for circular column, it is pi d raised to 4 divided by 64. You can just Google, you will get a illustration for what is the radius of gyration for different section. So just by putting this value, you have identified what is the final answer. So final answer is 40, and total marks we have achieved 66. Let's go to next question, numerical question, question 52. Next question is related to the a construction project consists of following 5 activities. The immediate successor activity, relationship, and duration of each activity are mentioned in the table below. So the activities P and immediately successor activities are. So P के बाद R activity है, and the duration required for the P is 2 weeks. Okay. For Q, the immediate successor is R and S. Q, R and S. That means there is no relation between P and Q. But if you think that it can be in the sequence, so we can have this relation that it may have some kind of a dummy activity in between these two. These two are independent. One can start P and Q activity at different. They are not dependent on each other. So this can be started on a same day, but the duration for the completion are different, and the only thing is the immediate successor activity R is common for P and Q. So here just this figure can be drawn by using these values. What is the immediate successor activity of R? It is T, and for S and T there are no successor activities, and duration they have mentioned is 6 and 3 respectively for S and T. So again, if we can arrange this in the chronological order, there can be a dummy activity which is having 0 kind of a duration between them. So again, this is a dummy activity. There is no relation between R and S. So again, this can be the dummy activity. So what they are asking, the total duration of the project is how many weeks. So here, if we just take what are the paths, direct paths without any dummy activity. So P, R, and T is one path to complete the project. So what is the total duration? 2 plus 5 plus 3. That means 5 plus 3 8 plus 2. That means 10 weeks. This is this is one of the total time to complete the project. Then what is the other path? It is Q, R, and T, because here there is a dummy activity. There is no relation. So Q, R, T. This is the second path. So what is the duration for this? 4 plus 5 9, 9 plus 3 12. So this will be the longest path. This will be the longest part, and the total duration of the project is dash week. That means they are asking what is the longest path to complete the project. So the final answer will be 12 weeks. So 12 is the answer for this question. Again, this was 2 marks question. So total marks we have achieved till now 68 marks. Okay, next question 53. It is again very simple, just simple calculation. It is proposed to have simple tile flooring in a room having an interler clear dimension of 1.8 meter by 2.4. Just draw a rectangle of 1.8 meter by 2.4 meter. Tile sizes are 300 mm by 300 mm. Again, see the units are different, so we have to convert this the tile dimension into meter. The door opening is 900 mm, that means 0.9 meter, and the door is flushed with the internal face of the wall. The height of skirting is 600 mm, so we will convert this into meter, which will be 0.6 meter. The number, sorry, here there is a grammatical mistake. The number of ceramic tiles required for internal flooring and skirting is, the number of ceramic tiles required for internal. Okay, we'll just write down the values mentioned here one by one, and we'll solve the question step by step. So area of the room they have mentioned for which the floor tiles to be laid is 1.8 by 2.4. We have drawn a rectangle. So total floor area will be 4.32 square meter. So they have mentioned that we are using the skirting tile as well, and they have mentioned what is the height of the skirting. So skirting is provided at the perimeter. So perimeter we have to find out. So here perimeter of the room will be 2 into 1.8 plus 2.4. So it will be 8.4 meter. This is the running length. This is the running length. We have identified the perimeter. The door opening here they have mentioned is 900 mm, which will be 0.9 meter. So skirting will not be provided for this length because there will be the door opening that much length, like 0.9 meter we have to subtract from this perimeter length 8.4 meter. So the net perimeter of the room for which skirting needs to provided will be 8.4 minus 0.9, so which will be 7.5 meter. Now the height of skirting they have mentioned is 600 mm, that is 0.6 meter. So the area of skirting will be this running running length into height of skirting, which will be 0.6 into 7.5, which will be 4.5 square meter. So 4.5 square meter tiles will be required for the skirting only, and for the flooring we will require 4.32 square meter. So just simply we will do the addition. Total area for which tiling needs to be provided will be this 4.32, that means floor tiles plus skirting tiles, so which will be 4.5. So the addition is 8.82 square meter. We have just added 1 and 2 here. Now they have mentioned the tiles tile dimension as 300 mm by 300 mm. Tile size is 300 mm by 300 mm. So which will be 0.3 into 0.3 square meter, which will be 0.09 square meter. Now simply we will divide this 8.82 by 0.09 square meter. We will get what are the number of tiles required for the flooring and skirting. So the total number of ceramic tiles required for internal flooring will be 8.82 divided by 0.08, which will be 98. So we are getting in a complete integer. So here the answer will be 98. So again, this was 2 marks question, and very easy to solve. Just convert the units in single unit and identify the answer. So here we have achieved 72 marks. Okay, let's go to the next question, question 54. In a housing project, 75% of the permissible FAR was utilized. Okay, just understand that they have used only 75%. That means there is some 25% balance FAR is available. By simply we have analyzed what is the meaning of this sentence. After constructing 4 numbers of 8-story MIG towers, 4 number 8 stories. So total floors will be, just simply multiply 4 by 8, it will be 32. So there are 32 different floors of MIG with identical floor area. So 400 we will multiply by 32, which will be the total floor area of MIG. Just simply while reading we are doing this calculation. If 3 numbers of 7-story LIG tower, 3 numbers 7-story, that means 21 floors, 21 different floors LIG towers with again identical floor area are built utilizing the remaining FAR. Which remaining FAR? Right now they have used just 75%. So by using the 25% remaining FAR, what will be the floor area of each LIG tower? What will be the floor area? This is what they are asking. So in such a type of question, we have to just tabulate what is the data given right in the question, and then step by step find out the answer. So in the explanation, what we will do, we will write what is the floor area of each tower, how many number of floors are there, and what is the total number of towers. So we will get, as I mentioned while reading this question, we will get the total floor area, what is the FAR utilized as per the given information, and we will get what is the total FAR. because here they have mentioned that only the 75% permissible FAR have been used by constructing the MIG towers. So here for MIG, they have mentioned the floor area of each tower is 400 square meter. It is identical floor area. Number of floors they have mentioned 8. 8-story. It is a 8-story tower. So number of floor will be 8. How many number of towers are there? There are 4 number of towers. So total floor area, just by doing the multiplication of these 3 numbers, will be 12,800 square meter. Now they have mentioned that this much area is only 75% of permissible FAR. So that means 12,800 square meter is 75% of total FAR. So what will be the balance 25%, or what will be the 100% FAR will be, if this is 75%, just do the cross multiplication. The total permissible FAR will be 17,066.67 square meter. This is the total FAR permissible. So if we subtract this value from this value 17,066.67 minus 12,800 square meter, then we will get the FAR for to be used for the LIG towers. So as they have mentioned, the remaining FAR which can be utilized to construct LIG tower will be 17,066.67 minus 12,800. So this much FAR, this much area is available for, this much floor area is available for LIG towers. So just see what is the condition they have given. They are proposed how many towers and how many story. They have mentioned 7 story and 3 numbers. So 3 into 7, 21. So if we divide this area by 21, we will get the floor area of each LIG tower. See, 4266.67 divided by 7 into 3. So 203.17. This is the final answer. So basically in just 4 rows you have find out what is the final answer. So here the answer will be 203.17. As for final answer key, they have considered all the marks as correct and marks to all have been given. So again, this was a simple question of 2 marks. So here we have achieved total 72 marks. Okay, the last numerical question, question 55. Using the following values. In the actual gate question paper, they have mentioned the values which are mentioned here in separately adjoining the figure, but to avoid the confusion, I have directly used this value in the tabulated form while explaining the solution. So and one more thing, there was some grammatical error from the gate side, that here they have mentioned the value given is thermal conductance, whereas in the unit you can see the value given is a thermal conductivity. So there was a small grammatical error. The value one should read this as the values given are thermal conductivity. So here the correct word should be conductivity. The values given are thermal conductivity, surface conductance and thermal resistance. The thermal resistance of this 50 mm cavity is only mentioned here. The surface conductance of external and internal surface have been mentioned, 8 and 9.5 respectively. And they have mentioned the thermal conductivity, that is K value of brick wall and plastering. The thickness they have mentioned as it is in the table only. So all these values given in 3rd, 4th and 5th row have been already given adjoining the figure in the actual gate paper. And we have to identify the U value across the given wall section. The U value, that is thermal transmittance. So here first we will identify what is the thermal resistance, because at the end the relation between U value and R value is U value equal to 1 upon R value. If you go to question paper, gate question paper 2014, you will get the definitions of all these terms: thermal conductivity, surface conductance, along with their formula. What is the relation between thermal resistance and thermal transmittance, that is U value. You will get all this information, as well as the question related to the similar kind of example, the similar kind of data was also asked earlier. We will give the reference at the end of this solution. So let's solve this question one by one. First, we will identify the R value for this entire wall cross section. So what is the formula to identify the R value? If you have K value, the thermal conductivity is given, the formula to identify the R value is thermal transfer resistance equal to thickness upon K value for this section. So the R values for this component will be, for the brick wall it will be 0.2 thickness divided by K value 1.2, which will be 0.16. Similarly here we will divide 0.5, that is K value 0.02 divided by 0.5. So this will be the R value for brick wall, R value for the plastering. Here they have mentioned the surface conductance, and that is C value, and we have to find out the R value. Now again the relation between C value and R value is R value will be equal to reciprocal of this C value, because they have mentioned here surface conductance and we have to identify the surface resistance or thermal resistance. So we will just identify the reciprocal of these values. So 1 divided by 8.0 will be 0.125. Again 1 divided by 9.5 will be 0.105. So what will the thermal resistance, that is R value for this 50 mm cavity, is already mentioned in the question itself, which is 0.17. We will just simply write 5 next to these values. Like this will be the value 1, this will be 2, 3, 4 and 5. So simply adding all these 5 values will be the total thermal resistance, which is total R value. So total thermal resistance of wall section by adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be 0.6. So this is the R value. Now we have to identify what is the thermal transmittance, that is U value. So simply we will find the reciprocal of this, which will be the U value, because the relation between thermal transmittance, that is U value, and thermal resistance R value is U value equal to 1 upon R value. So what will be the reciprocal? It will be 1.67 watt per meter square degree Celsius. So this is the final answer for this question. The U value across the given wall cross section is 1.67. As I said earlier, the definitions related to these terms have been earlier asked in GATE 2016. So in question 14, the definitions along with their formulas have been mentioned, as well as the similar example was asked earlier in GATE 2014 in question 31. So solving this particular question was not a difficult task if the candidate has done multiple practice of question number 31, because more or less it was based on the similar line and similar kind of calculation where needs to be done to solve this particular question 55 of GATE 2021. So as I said earlier, as maybe that can be the reason that there was a grammatical mistake from GATE side only, they have considered all answers as correct and marks to all have been awarded. So here we have achieved 74 marks, and question 55, this was the last question, and here we have completed the architecture and planning 2021. Although there were few theory related questions which we have skipped, and like I said at the beginning, those theory questions, they have elaborated kind of explanation, and few of them they were asked for the first time, so and they have a like lengthy explanation for them. So the related theory have been already added in for those question paper, and they are available to read on the preview of this book on issuu.com. As well as if a candidate is again appearing in 2022, if he has already appeared in 2021 and he wants to refer the entire question paper, it is available on issuu.com. So he don't need to buy the book again if he already ordered the 5th edition, which includes the question paper till GATE 2020. He can just simply see the preview of the book on issuu.com.